Okay, so there we also have various other groups that's sending their questions through the various other social media groups. So I have to keep constant eye on all the questions that's coming in and all the people that say hi. Um, Perfect. Good morning, Hannah. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to get started because we're gonna have a lot of things to cover. So I'm gonna get started right now. Just give me 2 seconds here. Just gonna fix my. Okay. Uh, close this. I'm gonna put this there. Okay, good. So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Thank you once again for joining G-TAC's Media Employer webinar. And today we have a very, very special guest, Doris Haddad, who is an experienced career coach or career counselor based here in Ottawa. And the topic of today's webinar is the importance of research, um, or importance of researching the Canadian companies and industry here in Canada. So thank you, Doris, for coming. And I will let you do your self introduction a bit later. So before we get started, for those of you that's not familiar with GTAC, GTAC, which stands for Global Talent Alliance Canada, and we are definitely your one-stop, I guess your first and only stop, I would like to say, between you and employer connections here in Canada. So we have been doing this for over 2 decades now, and we are just passionate about serving skilled workers for their settlement and employment needs across Canada. And we definitely also help Canadian businesses expand by hiring people, that talented people that's coming to Canada. So newcomers, it could be someone that just that arrived here in Canada already, or that have already received their documents, are making plans to come to Canada, or people are just thinking about coming to Canada and they haven't started the application yet. So definitely, there's all kinds of opportunity out there for people that's listening today. And for those of you, obviously, there's a lot of you that's a regular listener of our webinar. For those of you that's new, is our webinar always uh, surrounds with topics that's with employment related, such as resume clinics, interview 101, how to improve your LinkedIn profile, how to make your online presence noticeable by employers, how to find hidden jobs. And of course, we also have Discover Canada, where we have regional municipalities or provincial government to talk about various job that's available in their province or in their city, as well as all the the living standards and all the benefits of moving to that community. And of course, we also bring sector specific expert to talk about labor market information, such as mining industry, food preparation. So there's CPA, BC, how you want to work and obtaining a destination in accounting, as well as we also provide training for those of you that's actually taking our training classes right now. Our accounting class is going ongoing. We will have new classes upcoming in the months ahead. And of course, we also provide one-on-one career coaching, and we're the host of Canada's largest online job fair. So, as mentioned earlier, so we do partner with over 20 municipalities and provincial governments across Canada. We are also the host of Canada's largest online job fair. We have done this 12 times already. Our 13th job fair will take place on April the 4th and 5th, which I'll show you in a little bit. As well as we also have employer connections with over 400 employer partners across Canada. The live webinar platform you're watching right now started in 2016. And to this day, we're extremely proud to tell you that we have broadcast over 800 live webinars since 2016. Now, those of you who listened before last week says over 700. So as of this week, we actually surpassed that now. We are starting with the 800 and counting, and we expect to bring you. We want to continue to bring you lots of exciting webinars in 2023. And this is the lineup for March. As you can see, Doris will lead off with our first webinar for the month, which is unveiling Canadian companies and industries for optimal job employment success. And we also have various other relevant webinars for March. So please go to our website, G-TAC-.ca, and click on webinar. You'll see all the listing. Of course, you can follow us on LinkedIn. Just type in Global Talent Alliance Canada, and then you'll see, and you can follow us where we will post all the latest information, whether it's training, whether it's webinar, or whether it's other events such as our upcoming online job fair. So, and of course, we also provide career counseling, one-on-one career counseling. Now, this is extremely important because a lot of you, I remember just last week, somebody said, I tried for 2 years. And Doris, feel free to jump in after I say this. He says, I tried for 2 years. I'm based in a country outside of Canada. I tried for 2 years and I submitted so many applications. I have not got one reply or interview. Forget it, right? And then I say to him, I say, how many more 2 years do you have left before you want to give up? Because 2 years is a long time. 2 years ago, had you saw professional career counseling, it probably would be already be here, be in Canada. I don't know if Doris, if you want to add to that.
Yes, I agree. We find methods, to get you in quick in Canada as a career counselor and show you different techniques like I will be showing you today to be able to get into Canada earlier.
Yeah. So for the little investment that you have to put in yourself now, you could save yourself weeks, months, if not years of time trying to do it on your own. Okay. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, is our 13th National Virtual Career Expo will be upcoming on April 4th and 5th. It's a 2-day event, and we'll definitely the anyone, much like today's webinar, it's absolutely free for job seekers to register. And I will put in the registration link in the chat box later, as well as various email for people that's interested to learn more about our career counseling, and of course upcoming training as well. Okay, so all this to say is I will now, and of course, I said earlier, is go to LinkedIn, follow us on Global Talent Alliance Canada, and then for all the latest information, the latest training, some of the jobs that we're helping our employer partners to fill, and some of the jobs that actually are GTS qualified. So they will sponsor you to come to Canada. Okay, so Global Talent Alliance Canada on LinkedIn. So now we're gonna pass the control. I think you already have the control, right, Doris?
Yes, let me just check this here for a second. If I want to go to my next screen, I just have to tap, Okay.
That's right.
And I'm just gonna go to
or on your that's right. So if you're all set, then Doris, the mic is yours.
All right. Thank you so much, Shaw. It's great to be here and welcome everybody from all over the world. Bienvenue. Je suis très contente que vous êtes ici aujourd'hui. I'm very happy that you're here today. And one of my key elements of how I conduct career counseling or coaching is I look at strategy for every single client of mine. And so the key here is that we all need to strategize our way to career success. So I've been working in career counseling for the last 30 years in both the private and public sector, federal government as well. I've been based here in Ottawa all along, but I do have origins from my country of Egypt and Lebanon, so I do understand what it's like when it comes to job search from abroad, from around the world. And yeah, I've been working in different areas of human resources as well. And so I do understand what it takes to hire a good staff member for an organization. And today we're going to cover the topic of research, as well as the importance of research in the Canadian company and the industry. So I'm going to be giving tips on how to find work in a faster fashion, because most of the jobs are hidden. You know, they are hidden. 90% of jobs are hidden in the hidden job market, meaning that we need to access them through networking or through information interviews, is what I'm going to be teaching today. And there may be other questions that come to your mind that are not related to today's topic. However, I'm willing to answer them in the question and answer period. And we may also have another workshop with the other topics that may come to your mind. So today we're focusing on how to conduct research and prepare for information interviews. So that's very common here in Canada. And you know, if there's anything that comes up, Shaw, while I'm speaking, I don't mind answering them on the spot as well. So just to give you an idea that it's important that we all get to know our career objectives as we go along, talking with people, we're researching, we're exploring different career options on the internet, we're looking at different company websites to find out their mission, their priorities. And while we're doing that, we're able to better narrow down what are our career goals. But at the same time, it's important to take the time to look at your career values, your skills, your interests, your personality traits. And you can do that through different self-assessment exercises with me as a career counselor with G-TAC as well. And you can look at that as a very important part of your job search. And this way you'll be able to relate your career goals, your values, your interests to the job that you are targeting, to the occupation that you are targeting. So very important to look at that. So just to re-emphasize is that your career goals are really what it is that you have to offer, but at the same time, it's exactly what you are looking for to work in your next position. Employers today want to know what you can offer, and to be able to identify what you can offer, it's very important that you look at all of your different skills, personality traits, values, and work preferences. And I will be showing you what work preferences mean as well. So these are the type of things that we want to understand. What is a work preference? For example, what job should I pursue? You know, what occupation do I want to pursue? Do I want to be a project coordinator, for example, or do I want to be a project manager? So sometimes when we arrive in Canada, we want to take a step down and become a coordinator as opposed to a manager, so that we can better get a hold on what it is to work with projects in Canada. And then we'll be able to better equip ourselves to grow and become a manager. So it's good to pursue jobs that are maybe at a lower level to begin with, and then we could start climbing up the ladder. Now, when we're looking at work preferences, should I accept a certain salary, for example? So how do we do that? So how do we negotiate the salary? This is something as well that we do through research and looking at labor market information. What kind of environment do I want to work in? Do I want to work for a large company in Canada, or do I want to work for a startup company? So again, when we're doing research and we're gathering information through information interviews, we're able to better get an idea of what kind of environment do we want to work in. And sometimes, do we want to start our own business? That comes to our mind as newcomers to Canada. We may want to start a business in a certain IT consulting area. And so this is something that you could discuss with me as a career counselor, and we could go through different areas of how do we go about considering starting our own business as well. So when we're doing research, which means gathering information through information interviews, it will provide us with a competitive edge, which means that we will stand out among our competition when it comes to looking at different roles that we are targeting. It will help us decide which employers do we want to target and what strategy are we going to use to target, through networking, information interviews, research. It will allow us as well to better customize our resume as we get to know what is it that the organization is looking for. It will better help us customize our cover letter and also help us to create a professional introduction that will reflect the needs of the prospective employers. So why conduct labor market research? It will allow us to learn more about business trends, what is going on in each company, what is hot, what is, the new latest invention of that organization, how can we fit in, what can we offer to help that organization grow? We get to know the key players and what we have to offer. So when they get a job in their company, they will remember you and give you a call. We get to find out about what are the different salary ranges going on in our occupation so that we are better equipped when people ask us, what kind of salary are you looking for? So it's better for us to have an idea by doing research so that we're better equipped to give the answer on that question. And we're looking at researching roles and responsibilities in local Canadian markets. So that's very important as well when it comes to job search and why conducting labor market research. So the key here is to really target the role that you're going to work in, the employer that you want to target, and the industry that you want to target. Three very important areas that we want to focus when it comes to our job search. So I prepared this slide because I think it's important that we consider certain websites for labor market research. And one that's very popular, it's called the NOC, National Occupational Classification. And if you Google that, you'll be able to see how your type of profession is described in Canada. What are the key elements to do accounting, for example, in Canada, and what is the education that is required to be an accountant here in Canada? So very important to look at the National Occupational Classification, and you can do that through G-TAC or through a career counselor like myself as well. We can help you to better hone on the type of roles and tasks that are required to be an accountant in your profession in Canada. There's also jobbank.gc.ca, which will list you all kinds of information about jobs in Canada, both private and public sector. So another labor market information that's very important during your job search. Then we have Indeed and Talent.com. These two different sites look at jobs that are being posted, and they're quite up to date. And they are two very important websites that I've noticed have helped a lot of overseas people get jobs in Canada. Invest Ottawa is one geared to the city that I live in, and they help people open their own business. And I'm sure there's different invest or entrepreneurship organizations in different provinces in Canada. And then we have different sites such as Volunteer and Charity Village. Volunteer sites will help you get your foot in the door and be able to understand what it's like to work in a Canadian work environment. So these type of websites will get you into nonprofit organizations as well to be able to get you in the area that you are looking for. Employment Ontario is another site that I find very useful. They help people with job search as well. And Eventbrite is another site that gives you different job fairs that are being posted, but our VCE is one of the biggest ones that's coming up, Virtual Career Expo in April. So I believe that that would be the best career fair for you to get on, and it's online, so it's going to help you to land work even faster. And then we have different agencies such as Excel and Tag HR that also help you when it comes to your job search to get you a role in your industry of choice. So very important to introduce yourself professionally, which is the same as your elevator pitch, or your 60-second introduction. Make use of your professional introduction when it comes to researching and when it comes to networking opportunities. It's the time for you to describe who you are and what you have to offer. In employment interviews, also, you will use your professional introduction during job fairs and any events where you need to introduce yourself. And I came up with an example here so that you get an idea that it's important to list all your technical skills, your top 3 skills, and also your soft skills when it comes to introducing yourself professionally. For example, hello, my name is Doris Haddad, and I'm a senior financial and business analyst with strong research and analytical skills. So there you go. I'm listing my technical skills up front. And I hold a bachelor degree in commerce with a major in finance. So a list of your education. I have excellent project management skills, financial reporting, and knowledge of certain IT software. So again, you're listing some more technical skills. Or originally, I would say the strong research and analytical skills are more softer skills. That's a correction on my end. And then you would list your major accomplishments. One of them is that I implemented and streamlined a cutting-edge data management procedures, improving the operational efficiency of the company by 5%. So again, we're looking at numbers, quantity, quality to show how we improve the organization. And then we want to add some kind of marketing, a tagline is what we call it. I am ready to improve your company's operational efficiency. Do you have any opportunities for me? So again, we're marketing ourselves to look like we stand out among our competition. So very important to plan and conduct job search campaign by listing who are we going to ask for research information interviews. And always remember that 10% of jobs are posted, which means we need to tackle the other 90% through networking and research interviews. So by networking, it means that this is the strategy that I want to bring forward today. It really means that we need to familiarize ourselves with professionals in our field here in Canada by doing some research, by gathering names through LinkedIn, by finding out who can help us open doors and who is it that can give us an insider view about what's going on in the company that we're targeting. So you would be looking for people in LinkedIn and other websites to be able to find people working in the company of your desire. And you want to contact not only managers and organizations, but also colleagues or peers or people who are doing work at your level that meeting, you will emphasize your knowledge and your interest in the organization, and you will ask questions, and I will take you through a series of questions that you can ask that will be able to help the Okay, I'm just trying to get the slides up front here. Do we have the slides here again, Shaw? Because my
Hold
screen.
on. No, there could be some issue there. It's coming back.
Okay,
There you
it's
go.
back again. Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
okay, yes.
Okay, so now I just want to go to the next slide. Let me see. I'm just hitting next, but it's not allowing me to go to the next slide. So I need
We'll
to.
pass the control to you. Just bear with us for 2 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay,
There
thank
you
you
go.
very much. Okay, wonderful. So remember to have a record keeping and follow-up document that will allow you to maintain a careful log of all the information interviews that you went through or regular interviews. Thank you notes are important as well. So remember to log that, and referrals as well. So very important to log any kind of information that you will be getting through your contacts with people here in Canada. So the idea again is to seek leads and information regarding an industry, employer, or occupation. So you want to look at company websites to find out their mission, their priorities, and you want to look at LinkedIn as well, as I mentioned. You want to identify the information you want to gather from the organization. You want to make a list of people that you know. You want to make the appointment, and you want to plan the agenda for the session that you're gathering information from the organization. And during this time, you want to remember too to be professional during this session of information gathering. You want to show interest, and you want to be prepared to answer any questions about what you are looking for. So very important, again, I'm emphasizing the idea is getting names in the field that you are targeting, send thank you notes and follow-up letters, and also take advantage of any referrals that you receive so that you're able to gather more information to get closer and closer to the position that you are targeting. So this is a chart here that just allows you to get an idea of who can you target. For example, there are professional associations that you can gather information from. There's meetup groups, there's volunteer opportunities, and some of these you can do online from overseas as well. There are different journals that you could seek out from the different cities, like Ottawa Business Journal. There's different industry association meetings. There's different information that you could gather through LinkedIn, through Twitter, through Facebook. So just to give you an idea, this is a chart that you can use when it comes to networking and be able to find people who you can speak with in your profession. And the type of questions that you can ask are very important. So for example, given my background and experience, what kind of occupational areas should I be researching for? So you're gathering information this way, you're asking them, given my background in human resources, for example, what areas or titles should I be researching for? So they could give you different types of titles in HR that you could be looking for in order to meet your targeted area of expertise. Number two, could you think of any particular job titles that might be a good fit? So again, similar to question number one. Number three, what obstacles or what gaps are there in my background that I need to be aware of? So some IT companies or IT people will give you ideas of what kind of software, other hardware areas that you should be targeting in order to work in your profession. And how would you recommend I fill these gaps? So you could ask questions like that during your information interview. Number five, given my skills and experience, what salary ranges could I expect? So again, you're getting information so that you're better equipped when it comes to your job interview. Number six, what professional publications in the field should I read? Are there professional societies or associations that I should consider before joining? So again, associations are very important in your field to see how you can meet with people and have contacts that can help you find the job of your desire. And number seven, what are the most up-to-date skills for this job? So very important as well to find out from professionals in your field, what are the most important skills for the particular occupation that you are targeting. Is there any chance of online or on-job training in this field? So again, you could find out if they do offer any kind of online training. And given what I've been told about my background, if you put yourself in my shoes, what would you advise me to do next? So again, you're gathering information from that networking contact to be able to guide you. Can you give me feedback on this draft copy of my resume? So this is an opportunity for you to get some feedback from someone who's in the same profession as you. And where do you see the industry going in the future? So very important question to ask again when you're targeting different people in your field. So these are the type of questions that I wanted you to have an idea of, and you can take note of. I'm going to keep the screen on for a little bit longer. And that pretty much concludes, the ideas that I want to project today. And now we could have time for questions and answers. And if there's anything that you wanted me to clarify, please ask, and I will be able to clarify during our time together in the next 30 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Doris. Thank you. So immediately, Abdel Karim asks us, hello and thanks for the webinar. As a civil engineer, what are the most realistic options to get a job offer in Canada?
Well, civil engineering is an accredited field here in Canada. So what you need to look at first is to get the accreditations that are important here in Canada for civil engineering. So there's, for example, building codes. For here in my province, the Ontario Building Codes is very important that you would need to study that before getting into civil engineering. So it's a profession that would need further Canadian-like education before you could step into the field. But it doesn't mean you have to redo your civil engineering degree. You would just need to get different credentials that will allow you to work in the field here in Canada.
Okay. This is a question from Mohyuddin. Sorry, if I pronounced your name wrong. Is like, do you have a better chance in the bigger cities to land a job?
It depends on your profession. What would be your profession, if you don't mind typing that in the chat box so I get a better feeling?
Yes. Okay. So please let us know your profession there. Okay. So here's a question that's sure, and some people actually, some of our listeners actually agree. It says right here, I did apply for lots of positions, but nobody contacted me, even I have good experience.
Yes, this is where you need to meet with a career counselor or G-TAC, because what happens is that we need to look at your strategy. How do you go applying for positions? And then we need to teach you different strategies to be able to land your dream job, because 90% of jobs are hidden in the networking market. So it would be more finding you strategies to be able to land the jobs that you're looking for, because just applications won't get you very far, because only 10% of jobs are posted in Canada. So you got to really hone on to how do you stand out among your competition, and you need to meet with a career coach to be able to help you do that.
Okay, good. Well, he replied, he's in administrative and business process operations.
Okay, business process information and administration. There's quite a lot of jobs in both big cities, small cities in that area. But as a general rule, bigger cities will definitely get you a job quicker than smaller cities. But being flexible of where, if you could move, for example, say you start in a bigger city or in a smaller city, and then suddenly which will help you to move around. But as a general rule, for your profession, there's a lot of jobs in bigger cities. And for all professions, really, when you think of it, it's more common sense. But at times you can find jobs in smaller cities as well and be open to relocation.
Yeah. Well, a lot of it says here, okay, I have to go to different questions here. I'll come back to you, Abdul Karim. Here's another question is, you mentioned about hidden jobs, and we actually did a workshop on hidden jobs that was well, a few months back now. Now, everybody mentioned, like, hidden job accounts for majority of the job placements here in Canada, where what was the number you used?
No,
10%? That's only 10% is posted.
yes.
So what are your tips to people listening out there in terms of finding hidden jobs?
Yeah, so for finding hidden jobs, you would research different sites, that I mentioned to you, but not for job ads. But you would search for contacts, like through LinkedIn, for example. You would search for people who are doing work at your level, peers who are in your profession, and you would ask them questions, information interviews. So by talking to people at your level, you'll be able to be remembered whenever they hear about jobs in their profession, in your profession. But also tackling, different ways of networking by making cold calls, by finding out people's emails, sending out emails and asking people for information about their profession, and which is your profession. So really tackling through networking, information interviews, through LinkedIn. This is how you're going to target the hidden job market the most.
Yeah. Okay. Um, in your information interview questions, it says question number 5. People are saying, how would I know? Can I not do the research on my own in terms of the salary range for similar position in Canada? If that's available, where can I find them?
Yes, one of for me, the most important website for that is called talent.com. Talent.com, they have a search bar. And and in there, you would type your profession and it would list your salary, average salary in your profession in different provinces in Canada. And this way you could show the employer by telling them you did some research and you found on talent.com this average salary. This is the kind of salary that you would be expecting because it's the average.
Okay, good. Now, well, this is for Abdul Karim. He says, thank you again. He says, so do I have to start my application from Algeria, or should I start only when I come to Canada applying for jobs?
Okay, I recommend starting from abroad. The sooner you start, the better it is. So if you have opportunity with time, start your search. Let them know that when you are planning to be in Canada, and that you are looking for work right now, and this is what you can offer the organization. So yes, start from your country. It would be more advisable.
So we got this comment from one of the listeners saying that since 2019, applying for job and no response. So it's been 4 years that this listener has been applying for job with no response. Do you have any suggestions to he or she?
It would be important for us to see your technique, of how are you going about with your job search, looking at your marketing documents, your resume, your cover letter. It'd be important to see a career counselor so that you could really find out what errors you might be making, so that we could help you quicker find work. So yeah, it's something that we need to customize and look at one-on-one with you.
Okay. Now I want to apologize to all our listeners ahead of time. Is we're getting questions from several sources, so I'm trying to manage that. So if I didn't get to your question yet, don't worry about it. I'm gonna try to get to your questions. Okay, so don't there's not in particular order, so don't be patient. Okay, so your patience are greatly appreciated. So Marian asked, could you please Mrs. Haddad, give us the answer if we can transfer our careers to apply for a job as a foreign applicant without work permit, for a job without experience, because we have a job to get work as a regulated worker.
Okay, yeah, that I'm not so familiar with the different rules around the permits. I more strategize with job search techniques. So it would be important to talk to someone with employment and immigration to ask your specific question with work permits, because it's not my area of expertise.
Yeah. Thank you, Doris. And then I want to also remind everyone is we are here as a career expert. We are not regulated immigration consultant. So, and we don't even want to give you any information on it, because that's a very, very serious information on that level is very, very serious. And you really want to deal with professional. For any one of you that's looking for referrals, we do work with 2-3 very, very reputable immigration consulting firm here in Canada. And if you want recommendations, we're happy to share them with you. And you will get I believe a 30-minute free assessment session. Okay. Okay, so for Rain Ben Hoffman, I have computer science applied to management university degree. What kind of job title should I search for?
What area is the expertise? I'm sorry.
I have computer science and applied management university degree. What kind of job title should I search for?
Yeah, I would in the search bar put the titles separately, computer science on its own, just to see what comes up, and then your management title on its own. And then I would also search the two together. This way you'll be able to see if there are organizations looking for the two areas of expertise in one position. And then you'll be able to do it separately as well, because the job market does look for computer science in their titles.
Okay, good. My background is social worker. Is that good to switch to some IT programs? Should I go switch to some IT programs and learn something about IT?
Well, if you love your profession as social worker, I would stay in your own profession. But if you have a desire and a skill to get into IT, if you've been job searching for some time and you know that IT is a hot market, it may get you in a position quicker than social worker. So why not if you have the talent? But I wouldn't switch careers if it's not your passion, to do IT. I would stick to social worker.
Okay. This is a question from Raul. Good morning, Doris. I have an educational background in logistics and supply chain management, but my current experience is in sales and marketing. Please, could you throw some light on the logistic and supply chain industry in Canada?
It is a popular area, supply chain and logistics. You may have to take some training in Canada to get an idea of how we do it here, but it's not a very long training. I do see quite a lot of work in this area of logistics and supply chain management. So it is a hot area in Canada right now.
Okay. And there's a question from Christopher. I'm not sure if this is well, do your best to answer. Okay, it says, can we have webinar on tax and tax filing?
Tax filing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, maybe you can let people know how serious it is, to do tax filing here in Canada.
Yeah, very important here in Canada to do your income tax, so you don't undergo any penalties. So if you owe money. So yes, there are seminars that you could find on tax filing with different Employment Ontario websites. I know about my province. So yeah, there are places, if you Google tax filing seminars, they do offer that free of charge. I've seen it in different organizations that are part of the government.
But are they free of charge to anyone or only to permanent resident?
Normally it's to permanent residents, yes,
Yeah,
normally.
not to international students, I don't think.
I don't think so, no. It's not, I never looked exactly who's qualified, but I just know it's being offered.
Okay, yeah, okay, good. We're gonna move on. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we just released today's poll. Please take a few seconds to complete the poll. Your feedback are extremely important to us. It is through these feedbacks that we are able to arrange a more relevant webinar topics for you in the future. So please take a few seconds, complete that. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what you would like to hear more, and then put it in the section, and we will compile it, and then so your poll is very important to us. Okay, so thank you. Here's a question. I have a graduated with a bachelor's degree in criminology and another degree in forensic investigation. Where can I find opportunity in Canada without experience?
So forensic, and what was the first one again?
Criminology.
Criminology. Okay, yes. You know, we do find people looking at internships where they take people who graduated, you know, in the last year or less. And some organizations will take you as a student internship. So it's good to look at on the internet, you know, organizations who will hire in these fields, and be able to see who would take you as an intern or a co-op, or sometimes volunteer as well. So that's what comes to my mind as the first strategy.
Okay. There's a question from Xinyin. Says, how likely will an employer sponsor my work permit if my PGWP will expire soon? If my PGWG expires, do I only have the option to find a sponsor to continue working in Canada?
Okay, PGW, that's what does that stand for?
So Xinyin, please let us know what does PGWP stands for. Okay. Yeah. So those of you that's listening out there is every year Canadian employers hire thousands of foreign talented skilled professionals through the Global Talent Stream program, where they sponsor you to come to work in Canada. And this is where G-TAC can help you, because we do work with many employers that do the sponsorship. Okay, so those of you that's saying about, oh, can we apply for a job and get sponsorship? The short answer is yes. Now, of course, the yes, that part is easy, but how to get to that part is hard. Well, we know how to get to that part, but you still need to go through. You still need to have a good resume, good interview skills. You still need to have career coaches. So this is all hand in hand. Okay, it's not one or the other. So this is all it's all related. Okay, so just keep that in mind. And so while we're waiting for that, is there a chance for truck driver jobs here in Canada?
I would say so, yes. I mean, there's always jobs in every profession. Yeah, so it's just really, you know, being there at the right time when you're doing your application, but always look at not like every profession has jobs. It's just that you have to work at it hard, networking especially. And yeah, there would be jobs in truck driving as well in Canada.
Okay, so let's go back to Xinyin's question. How likely will an employer sponsor my work permit if my postgraduate work permit will expire soon? If my postgraduate work permit expires, do I only have the option to find a sponsor to continue working in Canada?
Okay, this again is a regulated question that I would ask with immigration because it's not an area of my specialty. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Xingyin, please get in touch with Emily Wu. I'm gonna type the answer right now. Yeah, please get in touch with Emily Wu with this question, and we will be able to get back to you on that. Okay, because this is a very, very serious question because your PGWP is expiring soon, so you're probably in pretty panic mode right now. So if you're not in a panic mode already, so so is it possible to apply for a job without having PR from outside of Canada?
Without having PR?
No permanent resident status.
Okay, we would need that, yeah, to apply in Canada. Permanent residence is
No, from
really,
outside of Canada.
yeah. If you have it from outside of Canada, yes, it's important to have the PR status, but there's different statuses like work permit too that can allow you to work here in Canada. So again, I'm not specialist in permits, so I can't really answer specifically. But the having a PR definitely gets you into working in Canada.
Perfect. Yeah, and Gloria, same thing. Please get in touch here. Yeah, I just put in the email. Please get in touch. And we will be able to assess your case and then work on it. Okay, here says where can I get a feedback on my CV that suits Canadian job market?
Okay, so through us at G-TAC, we could give feedback, and through me as a career counselor, that's
Mhm.
one of my specialties. So you would contact us through Shaw, and he will be able to provide the person who can help.
Okay, yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, is anyone that's interested, please get in touch with SONG for the training. Please get in touch with song.g@gtac.ca. Anyone interested in career counseling, career. Okay, okay, where is it? Yes, career coaching. Please contact please go to our website, and then there's a career in the job seeker section. There's a career counseling site, and where you can just register. Okay, and click on there's a link there that you can register and request for a career coaching session. There's a price and package that's there already. So, what about teaching? Are there many teaching jobs available in Canada?
Yeah, teaching is also an area that's accredited. So you would have to do the Ontario province, for example, teaching certifications in order to be able to be qualified to teach within the province. There are a lot of jobs in teaching, but you would have to be requalified.
Okay. So HP is asking whether you could put down the I don't know if you have the website. Do you have the website for Eventbrite, Excel, HR, Tech HR, Volunteer Ottawa? Do you have all those websites handy, Doris?
You'd have to Google them actually, because I don't, I don't have them listed here. Like just, you'll have to just put Eventbrite in a Google and you'll see it's going to come up the site. All of them, they will all come up when you just put their names in the Google.
Okay. Now there are people that are asking questions, some of the listeners are replying. So from an expert point of view, Doris, do we need a cover letter when we apply for jobs?
I find it's important to have a cover letter. It helps you stand out among your competition. It will allow you to list, how am I, strong in being considered for a job in your company? What is it that I can offer? So very important to put a cover letter as many times as you can so that you could customize what is it that you have to offer for that organization.
Okay. So it is important. Okay. So just remember that, Raul. Um, okay. Are there less jobs available in winters than summer and fall? Is there hiring freeze in winters?
No, no, it's we're always hiring all year long. The quieter times may be in the summer because people are on vacations often, but generally, we are hiring all year long.
Okay. And also, I have three professions: purchasing, human resources, and administration. What are my chances of finding a job in Canada?
Those areas are all very popular. So very strong chance of finding work in purchasing, HR, and administration. Very, very popular areas. So yeah, I feel that as long as you have strong English and able to work in these fields, there are good opportunities.
Okay. And wow, this Raul, Raul, you're very, very good listener. I like your questions. Is there a specific CV or resume format that is compliant to the applicant tracking systems uh, that are being used by many companies?
I would say that the format that is most applicable for this ATS system is one that is less pictures, less formatting, very simple, chronological or functional resume. Have less graphic design on them so it doesn't get, reshuffled. So yeah, so just chronological functional format resume. One of those or both are the most applicable for the ATS to pick up the terms, the words. So always remember to put words in your resume that are from the job poster so that it gets picked up by the applicant tracking system.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, Doris, it's not so much the format that's important. It's a lot of keywords that are important.
Yeah, the keywords are very important and not too much design, like graphic design. But yeah, having the keywords that are listed from the job poster is very important.
Okay, great, great, great. Here's a good question, a long one too, from Raji. He says, "Good morning, madam. Nice to meet you. The session has been very informative. Thank you, so much. My question is about a career switch. I have been working in the IT industry for the past 20 years as a technical systems specialist, and following have been my role across companies from different industries such as technical support specialist, application support specialist, software support engineer, production support specialist, business analyst, etc., etc. I'm looking for a career switch to get into IT recruitment, such as IT recruiter. Can you please share your thoughts on how I can go about achieving this?"
Yeah, IT recruiters are very in demand here in Canada. It helps organizations get IT specialists in their company sooner than later. Yeah, so having all of your background that you've listed is very important. So it shows that you understand different IT professions. And so, yeah, getting into IT recruitment, you would just look at, online recruitment agencies for IT, and you can make contact to them directly, and they could tell you how they could use your expertise.
Okay. Now you have mentioned about supply chain training. Do you have any website that you can share with our listener?
Not in particular. I haven't focused there to see what is the most recent websites for supply chain. But if you Google that, you'll see, the one that comes up first, I would tackle first.
Okay. Here's a here's a question from Xinyi. The one with a postgraduate work permit. It says here, what do you think about graphic designer, user UX design industry in Canada? Is it a good job market?
UX design is an area that I hear has not a lot of jobs, but enough, for you to apply for. I would tackle more what is my passion, what kind of work do I really want to work in? But if that's an area that you're thinking about, I would do a search on talent.com just to see how many jobs are coming up, because I would say a couple years ago it wasn't so popular, but maybe it's becoming more and more popular.
Okay. Yeah. But Doris, if they do these search on these public sites, that means that anybody can find these jobs, right? So that loses advantage. So ideally they want to find a hidden job, right?
Yes, that's true. It's more to give you information when I suggest to search
Yes.
websites. It gives you
Yes.
information, but then you still have to tackle the hidden job market by making contact with other UX designers on LinkedIn. For example, they're going to be able to answer to you better if there are jobs in the same profession as you that you're targeting, and they will be able to let you know because that's their field of expertise.
Yes. Thank you, Doris. It says right here, what about architectural design profession? Is this
Architectural
a hot
design.
job market in Canada?
Architectural design, yes. I have a couple of newcomers that came from the Middle East who got work in the field with a company called Paul Davis, very big company, as an architectural designer. So there are quite a lot of companies hiring in this field. So I would say it is a field that I've recently helped my clients get into.
Okay, so it's definitely so. Xiaojun, yes, you can send your info to us and we'll forward it to Doris. Now, it says here, this is from Francisco. About the work platforms, do we really have to fill in the spaces since we have already attached the resume? I see that this can take a long time when we have a resume with a lot of time working in other companies. I think what he meant is some companies where you need to create a whole applicant profile, you need to write a whole bunch of other information, and on top of that, you need to attach a resume to it. I think that's what he meant. Like, do you really need to fill all those info in the applicant profile building?
Yes, very important because that's how they do their, process of screening applicants. So it's very important to fill out the full template that is being requested.
Okay, but here's a question, Doris. Some companies, some people says, you know what, I'm good. I can do this job and I can do the other job as well. Both job fits me. And I'm creating this profile on the company. Say, I don't know, say IBM, just say IBM for instance. And then they actually want to apply to two jobs. What's your suggestion though? Because I don't know if they can. I don't know if they can submit two different resumes, like resume for each job. Like, what's your suggestion if somebody wants to apply to multiple roles within the same company?
Right. Yeah, if you do have two different resumes, it's common to say that here's a resume for my one profession in IT, and here's a customized resume for this other position, because you're customizing each time your resume to fit the requirements of the job. So it's fine to have two separate resumes and just reapply with a second resume.
Okay, good. Okay. Does small cities also advertise their job vacancies?
Yes, also similar to bigger cities, they're advertising. Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So Francisco, thank you for your answer. So wow, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry, Doris. We're 3 minutes past our schedule time. Really appreciate your time. So Doris, you want to take 30 to 60 seconds to close today's webinar?
All right, so thank you everybody for being here, and please reach out to me through G-TAC. I'll be able to help you answer any more questions you may have. And so today's session was geared on how to tackle the companies, unveiling companies by looking at research and information interviews and targeting hidden job market through different websites I mentioned, and the LinkedIn as well. So thank you again for being here, and please reach out to us on our website and information at g-tac.ca. And you could put in the subject line Doris Haddad so that we know you have questions specifically for me, so I could help you out.
Yes, thank you, Doris. Yes, that's very, 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 very useful information because we host so many webinars. So it's always nice to refer to which webinar, what question you directed to which webinar or which presenter. So please do put down Doris Haddad in the subject line so that we know exactly which webinar or which presenter you're referring to. So thank you once again for joining us on behalf of everyone at G-TAC and also all our listeners. Doris, we want to thank you for your time. Really, really, it's an honor, a pleasure to always, it's always, how long have we known each other? Over 10 years, right?
Over 10
Doris?
years,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we're old friends now. So anyway,
That's right.
it's a pleasure to work, host today's webinar. And for those of you that there are so many other webinars coming up in March, and I look forward to see you next week. First one is Devon will be presenting on Tuesday, March the 7th. And Payments Canada will be presenting on Thursday, March the 9th. So I look forward to see you guys next week. Until then, have a great, great, great rest of the week. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.